exclusive.
Hi, I'm Chris Roberts, and I am leading up Star Citizen.
So for the noobs out there, what is Star Citizen and what is Squadron 42?
Well, Star Citizen is the overall game, which includes this massive persistent universe that's sort of like a space sandbox that you could go from planet to planet, buy goods, sell them on another planet, make a profit, be a mercenary, be a bounty hunter, be a pirate, sort of make your way. If you've watched Star Wars and you wanted to be Han Solo, this is kind of the game you'd want to play. And then Squadron 42 is the single player experience inside this bigger universe, and that's set up very much like Wing Commander, which was a series of games I did back in the 90s, and that's more a sort of linear narrative where you've signed up for the military and you're on this combat mission essentially, and you get behind enemy lines and it gets hairier and deeper, and it's going to be a lot of fun. So Squadron 42 itself will match anything that I've done on the past for a Wing Commander, using all today's tech and look and everything that we're doing for Star Citizen. Then Star Citizen's like the bigger open universe after you've played the single player experience, which hopefully will sort of teach you the ropes of playing the game that you drop into and adventure around it.
Will there be a subscription-based model for Star Citizen?
Oh no, there's not going to be a subscription-based model for Star Citizen. So we're sort of following the Guild Wars 2 model, where you buy your initial package. In our case, it's sort of a ship package, and then after that, you'll play, and we don't charge any subscription. And hopefully, we'll make enough money from new people joining and buying the initial packages, and then we allow people to buy some game credits with real money. But we do limit that, but those two sources of revenue we hope will sort of be able to let us add new content and run the servers. The big sort of principle is that there is nothing in the game that you can't earn. So there's no like items or anything that you only can pay with money. So all you can spend some money on is either buy your initial package or a few more game credits, and that's really just for the 40-year-olds or the 30-year-olds that now don't have 30 or 40 hours a week to obsessively play in the game and want to play a few hours on the weekend, but maybe they want to drive that fancy-looking spaceship. So it's sort of pay for convenience, I guess, what the idea is. But the core of the game is actually playing, adventuring, making the money, upgrading your ship. So you sort of will shortcut some of the fun of the game by doing that. But there's just we have a lot of supporters of this, or even myself, that like sometimes you just want to jump in the Ferrari at the beginning. But essentially, the idea is that you would sort of build up your wealth and build up your ship or your collections of ships as you're playing the game.
How does it feel to have so many people around the world believe in you guys and your project?
It's pretty awesome. I think that everyone on the team feels sort of pretty privileged and humbled by the amount of support we have. It's a big thing to live up to, because I know a lot of people have really invested a lot emotionally in what we're doing, but we're all very committed to make the best game we possibly can. And so it's nice. It's much better than the old way when I used to make games, where you would make the game inside the publisher system, because most of the execs at big publishers aren't really game players. They just want to know, are you going to make my deadline? I need it for my investors or the quarterly report. And it's really great to, we show stuff very early, much earlier than I have done in the past, but everyone's enthusiasm is fantastic. It's sort of really sort of infectious for the team. You want to do good stuff because people like it. So it's really nice to be building for an audience this early and have them excited by the potential of it. So from a creative process, I think it's wonderful.
A lot of devs said the space sim was dead. How much scale is Star Citizen going to give the player?
Well, I don't think space sims are dead, obviously. We're obviously a pretty big sign that a lot of people want to play space sims, and there's a lot of other, Elite Dangerous, they just launched their alpha. They did a successful crowdfunding campaign, end of last year. And there's a few other people that have come into some smaller games, but it seems like everyone now is sort of jumping into the space, which isn't a bad thing. I like it. It's not like I only want to see one sci-fi movie once a year. I'm happy to see a lot of sci-fi. So I don't know why it was missing for so long, because the power of the new machines, both graphically and computationally, allows you to build a much more intricate and bigger simulation than you ever could before. So space is natural for that. It's a big open frontier, and so I really think the experience is going to be inherently deeper, now than it was when I was making Freelance or a Privateer or a Wing Commander, just because we can just do everything with a lot more detail. And that's really kind of the difference. It's sort of like, it's just a big step up, whereas before maybe you would like kind of sort of imagine little bits of it. Now you actually get to feel and touch parts of it. That's also great. I mean, this is basically the game I've wanted to play at this fidelity for a long time.
How soon will we see the dogfighting module, and what features are going to be included with it?
Well, I'm not going to commit to a date just now because we were saying at the end of this year, and you know, the community, we just announced that we were going to push it back. The community was mostly supportive, which was really great. I mean, that's the problem of having a very open development process, is that, you know, a lot of times internal milestones shift around based on how the project evolves and what the needs are. But you know, we're so public that, you know, everyone knows about it, and it's kind of hard that where normally if I was developing this how I normally would, what we did would be completely normal and par for the course. So, you know, we delayed it because we wanted to make sure that we were using our proper back-end system. So, you know, we can play right now. I mean, you stick around here a little bit, you'll see us testing out and playing in the dogfight, but there's still a lot of finesse to be done on just the dogfight size. I want to like do more stuff on the HUD and the UI, and there's just a lot of details because there's a huge amount of fidelity we're doing on this that's above and beyond what anyone else has done and what anyone else is doing that's even against us right now. So it's just, that requires a lot of care and attention. And then the back-end system, because we've got so many people, I mean, we've got 200, almost 200,000 people signed up for just to play the dogfighting alpha. So that's not a small alpha rollout, right? I mean, I think Elite, when it went out, had, you know, I think maybe they had 800 or 1,000 people that were at the alpha level. I mean, this is an order of magnitude bigger. So you've got to make sure that you can handle the players connecting with each other, you know, just, you know, tens of thousands of people potentially all playing at the same time. And you know, we got people all over the world, so you know, we're committed to having some servers North America and Europe and Australia and some other places. So the tech to build that and spin that up is what we wanted to sort of wait before we rolled out the dogfighting, because that would be the most useful for us. That's just not ready yet. Originally, when I was thinking about doing the dogfight, I was going to do it in a much more sort of contained aspect. Where it was going to be using the sort of CryEngine back-end system, because I don't think there'll be that many people and I need to show some of the stuff. And so as things have evolved, the better choice for the game is to have it work on the real system that we're going to use, because we'll do less duplicated work. And so we're doing that, so people are supportive. So the short answer is it's not going to be in the next month or so, but it'll be in the next couple of months. So I think probably March, end of March, April is the timeline we're looking at. We come back in January, we'll do another assessment and we'll communicate to the community.
How many people do you have working on Star Citizen on a global basis?
We have a lot of people. It's kind of hard to say right now because we've been hiring, we've been staffing up in Manchester now, and we've been staffing up here in Los Angeles and in Austin and then in Montreal. So I would say, I mean, last at our CitizenCon we were about 110, and I think we probably added about, so I would say we're probably like 130 or 40 people right now. We are projecting to be at about 200 people between the contractors and the in-house staff, probably by March, April of next year. And that's kind of where our sort of dev side is sort of focused on. And about just over half of that would be internal, and about half would be contractors, people building 3D assets, models, all that kind of stuff.
Awesome. Can you explain the guild organization system for the new player? I might not know about it.
Okay, well, I mean, one of the things that, you know, as we built the game early on, we always thought, well, we're going to support groups and guilds, but, you know, it was just pretty interesting to see like how the community sort of coalesced and already formed their own different alliances and guilds, and so we sort of felt like, well, you know, we really have to sort of step up our support in the game and also on our website for that. So we're going to roll out in January our organization system, which will be on the web, but it's the same system that will run in the game. And so the organizations you build on the web and the friends list and all the rest will go right across the game. The chat channels will go right across, so there'll be no difference between what you do on the site and what you do in the game in terms of setting groups and communicating all the rest of the stuff. And so yeah, we're allowing the tools for the users to create their own organizations, recruit people, moderate, have their own private forums for their own guild or organization, do their own moderation, And eventually when we get into the game side, these groups will also be able to do things like set guild fees or tithe their population and manage some funds just for the organization itself. So I think those will all be tools that I think a lot of players like in an online game, and I'm pretty interested to see the various, whatever it is, corporations, military companies, or whatever they get created, pirate groups, or everyone. It'll be interesting to. It'll be a little while, but when the universe gets up and running, I'm very curious to see sort of the dynamics of that. I think it'll be very cool.